It's that time again. A time for another exciting episode of the You Name It show starring Davin Christensen.
Hola, Jerry. How are you?
And me, Jerry Taylor. And that was a totally blown intro, but we're leaving it in because we don't care.
Give a fuck.
No.
There, I got the fuck out of the way already.
Yeah. Now everybody that tuned in as new people will know that there's swearing going on.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, let's see. What does this week hold for us? I can't remember. Last week, did everybody know that you were in Washington, D.C.?
No. Last week I was in Utah.
Utah. This week you're in Washington, D.C. because you travel too much.
Yes. And you are back in the States because last week you were in Canada.
Montreal, Quebec. I have to say Quebec because that's the way they pronounce it over there.
It's weird because it sounds so glamorous that we're always traveling in other states, but it fucking sucks. It's the same thing in every town. There are so many bums here in D.C. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I think that's one of the bigger homeless/bum/panhandler cities, right?
Yep. And I kind of feel bad because first day here, I got hit up by the same bum 3 times.
Yeah.
He hit me up at the hotel, wanted a cigarette. Then Keith, one of our audio engineers, and I walked down to CVS a block away. Did some shopping at CVS, came out, and he wanted me to buy him a Monster Energy drink.
How did he ask for that?
Hey, man, can you get me a Monster Energy drink? I really need one.
That simple, huh?
No. So then he came up to me later outside of the hotel, and I said, dude, this is getting old. This is the 3rd time you're hitting me up. He goes, what do you mean? I said, you hit me up for a smoke about an hour and a half ago, and then you just hit me up at CVS about a half an hour ago. He goes, you shave? I go, yeah, I shave. He goes, I got some 5-blade razors. I'm like, what? He goes, 5-blade razors, $5 a piece. I started thinking, okay, I'm bald. It's obvious that I shave, but
yeah.
When was the last time I bought razors off a homeless guy? Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, dude.
Yeah, let me calculate how many times I think you've done it. Are you ready? This might take a second here.
Okay.
Let's see. I would have to guess that in your entire lifetime, you've probably bought razors from a homeless person. None!
You got it. And plus, he's $5 a piece for a 5-blade razor. That's about the same price as you buy in a store.
It might be 50 cents more.
So I'm just wondering if he stole like a Dollar Shave Club box off of somebody's porch. And he's just trying to get rid of them. It has no idea what they're worth.
That's funny. And you made me think, too, about the Monster Energy. What a strange thing for him to ask for. And then I was thinking, what could the story be? Because usually there's a story. Like, you know, man, I ran out of gas and my car's like 6 blocks away and I'm tired and I need to get a Monster Energy drink. I can't afford one. So just to get back to my car or something like that, you know?
And the other thing is I've become so numb to it because you get hit up so many times by the homeless.
Yeah.
It was drizzling and Peter the Beard and I were walking to work. It's drizzling out. I'm bald. Some guy coming the other way on the street goes, hey, man, your hair's getting wet. I go, nope, not interested. I immediately replied with a, nope, sorry, man. And he's like, I probably make more money than you do. What the hell are you? I'm not a bum. I'm not homeless. I'm just commenting on the fact you're bald. Get over it, buddy. Yeah. You know, one of those.
Yeah, but you didn't say anything about money.
No.
You know, you just said, no, I'm not interested. Why did he think that you thought he was a bum?
That's true. I didn't look at it that way.
Because he is a bum, and you caught him, and he got embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Stupid guy.
But I looked at Peter, and I thought, am I that desensitized and that much of a dick about it that I just assume everyone that talks to you out of the blue on the street is homeless?
Yeah. Hang on a sec. All right. You have to start yelling to me because my dumb system just fired up in the studio. I'm yelling to the thing now. My stupid
your furnace?
in the studio have just blasted on, and nobody wants to hear that.
No.
Nobody. So now I'm back. Hopefully it wasn't too much of trouble. People tuning into this show are probably confused. What we do is Davin travels a lot. I used to. We talk about anything and everything, but a lot of the times we start up because of where we're at. And so we talk about the differences in cities. And now you've just learned that there are no differences from Washington, D.C. to any other city regarding the homeless, except for Montreal, Quebec.
Yeah,
Because
how are the homeless
didn't
there?
see one. None. Didn't even see one.
Oh.
It was amazing.
See, I remember back when the Olympics were in Atlanta, they actually picked all the homeless people up downtown, put them in a bus, and drove them out of town and dumped them off so the press wouldn't see them, and all the foreign press that's there covering the Olympics, and just get them away, keep them out.
Yeah, I seem to remember hearing that too, but right now I can't remember if I read it in the New York Times or the Atlanta Daily Journal, or if you just told me the same story and I just believe it. I can't tell.
Well, it had to be reported somehow, so I guess they didn't keep them away enough that a news report did get out.
I don't know, but I really think that I've heard that from other people, though, too. I was making that joke. Fortunately, we have what's called the internet.
You gonna look it up?
So,
homeless people driven out of Atlanta for Olympics.
I think I should be able to find it with just Atlanta Homeless Olympics.
It'll probably come up with the bombing. Bomb, 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 bomb. That's another keyword that our downloaders in Washington, D.C. would love to hear.
What's that? The bomb word?
Yeah.
No, actually, it popped up, and I believe you're completely right, because I don't even have to read the articles. It comes up, says, as Olympics approach, homeless are not feeling at home in Atlanta. And then the second one is, Olympics, Atlanta cleanup includes one-way tickets for homeless. So.
Well, I was also thinking, if you're homeless, wouldn't you want to, if you're going to bum money off of people, get enough money so you can, go to Florida. So at least if you're living outside, you're in a warm climate.
I wouldn't go there because it gets brutally hot there and humid. There's got to be, the perfect place to be homeless, The place where it doesn't snow, but it doesn't get super hot, somewhere in the middle.
South Carolina, maybe, or...
Yeah, it might be that, or it might be
Georgia.
over in California, like San Diego or one of those. A little bit further north in California, towards San Francisco, but not all the way because it gets cold there.
Yeah, and San Francisco, it does have a lot of homeless.
I know. Did you do that city this year? No, Bill did. Yeah, that was the worst one for me, was always San Francisco. You would be in the juggernaut. You'd be running the, what do they call that? Running the gauntlet every day on the way to work.
Yep.
Not the juggernaut, but I would hit 4 or 5 of them on the way to work every day in a 6-block walk.
Yep, and
Terrible.
That's how we used to actually determine how far the convention center was from the hotel, by the number of bums you encounter.
Right.
So we would call it a 3-bum walk, or a 5-bum walk, or a 7-bum walk.
Or you can modify it and go, I'm not really sure how far that one is. I think it might be a San Francisco 4-bum, or it could be a Chicago 7-bum walk or something,
Well, in Atlanta, there's all those hills, and we were outside of a bar one year, and it was one of our other video technicians, Brad Trent, and I, and his friend David came down to visit, and we were at this bar and outside to have a cigarette, and a homeless guy came up asking us for money, and he had a tennis ball in his hand, and he tossed it to me. Because I'm like, here, toss it to me. And he tossed it to me. I grabbed it, and I threw it down the hill and said, fetch.
That was in your meaner days.
And the guy looked like he lost Wilson. It was so sad. It's just
God.
But
You
it got
did
rid
that.
of him.
And I thought you were going to tell me Brad Trent did that.
No, no, he was cracking up over it though.
Brad Trent is funny, and he's one of those people. There's not a lot of people like him. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this will be interesting to the crowd or not. I have a older daughter, Mallory, and she works while she goes to school. She works at Mongolian Barbecue.
Okay.
So I didn't see this, but I think I was in Montreal, and she sent a Snapchat picture of a guy with a Blue Water shirt on, and that's the name of the place where we work, and that's all we'll say about that.
Okay.
And so I didn't see that, but I received texts from Brad saying, "Hey, I met your daughter here at lunch." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Did you give her a hard time?" Because really what you want as a father is for your crazy work friends to say stupid shit to them so that they know how, either how shitty your job is or how much fun it is or whatever. So they can get a glimpse of your life a little bit.
Or how well respected you are at work.
Or something. You don't really want him to do that. I want him to do the Brad Trent thing. He would say crazy shit usually, because then he replied. He goes, "No, I didn't say anything," and it's so unlike me. I believe that. So I sent him back with a story, but he didn't. I don't think text made the story what it should have been. Just because I wasn't talking to him on the phone, and I said, "Go when you're leaving, stop by and tell her to say hi to Taby for me."
Okay.
And Taby, my daughter's silly and funny and crazy. And she does things that are ridiculous just because she likes to do ridiculous things. She started trying to bug her boyfriend by calling him Taby instead of baby, because to her, putting the T in the front was hilarious. So she just go, "Come here, little Taby. You're my little Taby." And that crazy about it. So we started saying it around the house. We call the dog that now too. "Come here, Taby." Apparently when I wrote it in a text, I didn't think about inflection. So when Brad walked out, he said, "Say hi to Tabby for me."
Oh.
And she's like, "Oh, yeah, Tabby." So it kind of wrecked it, because if he would have walked up, I should have talked to him on the phone, because then I could have explained. He could have walked by and said, "Hey, when you get home, make sure you say hi to Tabby."
How did you spell Taby? Because you could have put
Like
the inflection
baby,
in the text.
Yeah, I didn't spell it phonetically. I just threw it out there not thinking, because we write it on Facebook sometimes, and it's just baby with a T, so Taby.
Babies are stupid.
Tabby.
We all know that.
Babies are stupid, Davin. Ladies and gentlemen out there in the crowd, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we learned a few things from a former guest, Larry Wilberding, who told us that babies are stupid because they can't even read or talk. They don't know English, math, nothing. They're just stupid.
Yep, they just lay there and poop.
They do. I have one for you you'll like, and it's related to the show.
Okay.
I did a show callback kind of thing. You know what a callback is in this whole entertainment business, right?
Yeah, when you're calling back to an older episode to get listeners to go back and tune in.
Well, not really that. A lot of times it's in comedy, too, where you make a joke at the beginning of your set, and then you go through the whole thing, and then towards the end, you refer to something that you talked about at the beginning, like a callback, but it's sort of the same thing.
Bring it back around. Full circle.
Well, I did one for you, especially for you.
Okay.
So Lisa, I don't remember if we knew it on the last show or not, if it was time for that, but Lisa was on vacation with my kid, and I was home alone for the first time forever. So, first of all, here's her callback. She did a callback. When she got home and we're hanging around, she looks at me and she goes, "Hey, when I was gone and you were here by yourself, did you wash your dick in the sink?" And that's for another episode, people. You have to look at that one up, too, because that's part of things Lisa says.
And you've got a whole new hashtag of things Lisa says now.
Yeah, I have to do that. I don't know if this one qualifies what I told, because I responded with something that you're really going to love, because it goes it's from you. I told her I didn't wash my dick in the sink. I think I said that. I might have said yes. I don't remember. But then I went on to tell her, Oh, I said, no, this is how I did it. I go, no, are you crazy? I wouldn't do that. But I did walk around naked and teabag every surface in the house. I rubbed myself all over the kitchen table, all over. I sat in your chair for a while naked, and this is the one I added.
Out of the drawer.
Yeah, this is the one I added. I cleaned out the refrigerator and I teabagged all the fridge shelves. And she's like, "Oh, you're sick." She goes, "I know you wouldn't have done that though because everything was in the right spot when I got back." And I go, "I took a picture."
Took a picture of the fridge and put it all back.
Yeah. And then I forgot who was there. I think one of my kids were there laughing at me about that. And they were saying, you probably did the whole house. You probably, on your phone, you probably have pictures of everything in the house.
Yep.
So like I could teabag the entire house.
Just like one of my high school parties. Take pictures of everything so you don't get caught.
Did you do that back then?
I did do that. I had a house party. My parents went to Las Vegas for a weekend, and I went, and this is pre-cell phone days, so I took a regular camera and took photos of everything, and then took all the shit off the walls. My dad had an antique liquor collection of all the tiny liquor bottles.
Oh, like, wait a minute. He traveled a lot too, so
yeah.
I don't know why you don't have that. You should have that. The collection of little airline bottles.
I would drink them.
You don't have to. You could buy a big one with a handle on it.
That's true. So yeah, we took off all that stuff and put it in the family room, and then I cordoned off the family room with tape and everything else. Wouldn't let anyone in that room. It was brilliant. Family room. It was like the dining room area, the room that you never eat in. That's always immaculate.
Yes.
Yeah. Put everything in there.
This is the room for visitors to look at.
This was at the big house.
Yeah. With the plastic on the couch.
Yep.
I went to a party for graduation from broadcast school, and it was like one of the rich kids, and it was in Bloomfield, and he lived in the big house too. Mm-hmm. Like, it was crazy. I felt like I was in New England or something. It was classic, like colonial but huge. And
right.
Anyway, they had that room that you're talking about. So myself and my friend from school, John Oswald, we went into that room and we moved every piece of furniture like a inch.
Yep.
So that the carpet dents would be visible.
Yep. It's the room you use twice a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, I've been in places where it's never been used.
Maybe on Easter too. Yeah, Easter Sunday dinner, but those are usually the ones. So it's like any Catholic religious room. It's only used 3 times a year.
It's your Catholic religion room. Yeah.
Yep. Because that's about the same amount of time we go to church.
Yes, non-practicing Catholic room.
Yep.
I get it. The analogy doesn't mean that you have to be a Catholic to have it. You could be any denomination or any religion to have it, but you use it as though you're a Catholic.
Well, the other thing is, the weird thing is, my mom would vacuum that room. It's like, no one ever fucking goes in there. Why would you need to vacuum?
The dust from the other part of the house. I don't. It is crazy though. Hey, Mom, it's almost time to open presents. Should we go to the midnight mass room?
Exactly. All the toys. Yeah, the Christmas tree. Put the Christmas tree in that room.
Yeah, people do that. No, I think Lisa's family used all the rooms, but like my brother had one of those in his house. That's where the tree was. No one ever sat in that room, but they would go open presents.
And it usually has the most uncomfortable furniture, but also the most expensive furniture. The $2,000 dining room table with matching stand that holds all the antique plates that never get touched either. It's like, what the fuck is the point?
And maybe maybe an old 1980s curio cabinet full of precious moments figurines.
Yep, knickknacks. And then but at Christmas time, that's when the little houses come out and go in there instead. It's the part of the decoration process.
Oh, the little Christmas village.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to smash it all right now. Christmas is over.
Did you ever have a train set growing up?
I did. I had a Lionel train set. And I say it that way because that's the way the commercials said, because it seems to be Lionel, but they'd say, your very own Lionel train.
Yep.
So
did you have one? I did, and for years it just went in a circle because I must have bought the kit or gotten the kit for Christmas that just had the circle track. Because I remember it just enough to circle around the Christmas tree. And then I started buying more track for it and could make it do other stuff. But it was always the lame circle around the Christmas tree.
I don't think I was ever allowed to put it up for the Christmas tree. I don't know why. Maybe mine was too narrow, or maybe it was one of those things where my dad looked at it and said, I am not having that transformer underneath our natural Christmas tree, because he always got like a real tree. Yeah, he might have been afraid of a fire, because those things, if you remember, those things were just like bare wires and third rail kind of thing.
Well, and then I don't know if you had the engine where you can drop the little juice inside the smokestack and it would actually puff out smoke.
Yeah, mine didn't, but I was aware of them.
I had one of those, and then it was like, oh, God. Yeah, when you're doing twisting the bare wire, kind of like Wile E. Coyote wired up some dynamite, You're wiring that together, and that's your controller.
Yeah, and it's this big, heavy transformer with a sliding, arm on it is what mine was, from like it swings, like a clock arm. Yep. And you could hear it when you turn it up. It's like... You're like, this is dangerous. How much power is going through this thing?
It sounds like the transformers on the poles outside in a storm. You just hear it starting to buzz and
crackle. I never did any expansion on the set. I think at one point I went to like a hobby store and I looked at all the little miniature stuff that you could get, and I thought, I don't have any money. I can't buy all this shit. So what I ended up doing most of the time was I'd set the thing up, and I'm like 11 years old or something, and I would build walls with Lincoln logs across the tracks and just run the train as fast as I could bust through the walls and
smash shit.
Get out my Guns of Navarone Army Man set.
Oh, I had that set too. That was awesome.
With the big mountain. Yeah. Yep. And I would set that up with it, and I would have it smash into everything. And
the
super
good
cool.
days.
I wish I had that train now. That train now is probably worth a bunch of money, because it was probably 1970. I might have got that when I was younger too. Let's see.
It's got to be worth something now. It would have been worth a ton.
Probably 75 or 76 is when I got it, when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah, I took mine to some antique store and sold it for some ridiculously low amount at some point in high school when I needed money.
And then you regretted it because you saw it later on for $700 or something.
Oh yeah. This was back before eBay even, and it's like, wow, I probably could have made a ton off of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been like a collector seller stuff, so I kind of wonder, and maybe the audience could tell us if they ever respond to anything on Facebook, whether or not when there was no internet you could get more money for your collectibles, or if you just got shafted all the time, if it was cheaper.
I don't know. And parents always seem to get kids like coin collector sets. Like, hey, maybe we'll get the kids into collecting something. And I remember taking books of coins to a resale shop place, and I'm sure they're like, oh, 13-year-old kid with all these coins. Yeah, kid, we'll give you $15. It's probably worth a fortune.
Yeah, it was the face value of the currency that they were giving you.
Exactly.
I remember those. They were like blue books that you'd push pennies and quarters into for each year.
Mm-hmm.
The good old days. So, yeah, I bet you there was a lot more screwing people going on back then. Now there could be a better market for it. I didn't really have anything collectible. I didn't do stamps or coins.
Well, now there's the internet, so you could kind of gauge at what things go for,
No, that's what I mean. Like, now it might be a lot better. We'd have to talk to an expert collector.
You know what I saw
what do they call them?
In D.C. when I was walking? A library. It was this building, and it had all these books in it.
Get out of here. They still have one of those?
They have one here. And
it's the only one left, I think.
There's other levels, and the whole first level is just computers. And then the second level, there's these shelves. And
What's on them?
They have numbers at the ends of the aisles, and there's books and books. And you open up a book, and there's paper in there.
Shut up.
It's crazy.
That reminds me. Do you think we still need the Dewey Decimal System now that we have spreadsheets and tracking and barcode numbers and everything?
No. You should
I don't
be
think so
able to. Dewey Decimal. Who is this Dewey person?
I don't know. What a geek that guy is. That's why that name Dewey turned into a nerd name, probably.
And it made no sense. The whole number system, it was like way too complicated for people who wouldn't go to libraries. I think it was to
Let me
keep
amend
people,
this for you.
Let
me change that a little bit for
to
you.
Keep people out of libraries.
That's a good
don't
one, though.
belong
Yeah.
there.
I was going to go back to my usual making fun of you and say, yes, it was maybe a complex system for you. But what was that all about? It's stupid. Nobody understood it.
Yep.
I remember we had do you remember we had classes in school about how to use the Dewey Decimal System?
Yep. That, and right after that class was typing class.
I liked typing class.
Oh, God. And I remember it's like finals, and they would arrange you by seats. You know, so all the fastest typer is in the front row, front left. I was right back by the door, pecking away with my one finger. You know,
I wasn't too bad
get
at
it?
it.
Wait! You didn't comment. What, pecking away with my one finger.
Oh shoot! I didn't hear it. Damn
I squeezed it in, Jerry.
And somebody in Utah is drinking.
Or Arizona.
Chris Staniforth in Utah is drinking. Hey, did Mr. Hobbs say he was listening to the show still?
No, he didn't mention anything. He was so busy with his build here that I don't think he had time to do anything.
Oh, I just wondered because I loaded it up for him. He said he was listening for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You made me think of something that I lost my opportunity now.
Okay. John Kivy listens. Shout out to John Kivy.
Big John Kivy. Love that guy.
Yep.
It's like hanging out with a nice, jolly person who could crush you.
Yep. So I cut you off. I'm sorry, Jerry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right, because this is one of those shows where we're just stream of consciousness. And right now I'm going back to the little airline bottles because, as you know,
right,
I never really drank on these planes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very often in the seats where you get free drinks, especially when they moved that economy comfort for Delta so that you would sit up there and those were all free drinks too,
right,
all last year and the year before maybe. And I don't know why. And I always get these drink coupons too. So I don't know why I don't just get, instead of just getting the Diet Mountain, or not Diet Mountain, the Diet Coke, why I don't just hand them. Well, I guess I could do that in the regular class too. Just hand them those and say, yeah, I'd like a Jack Daniels too, or whatever.
But
and
don't open
save
it.
The little bottles. Yeah.
That's the big thing is they always crack it open for you and then you're fucked. You got to drink it.
I'm going to tell them unopened.
Yep.
They listen to you. Because I tell them this too sometimes when I get the soda, which I don't do very often. I'll say, a can of Coke Zero, no glass, no ice. Because they always want to just throw a bunch of ice in there and pour you a little bit and hand
like
it to
a
you.
half a can, yeah. Come on, don't be stingy. Give me the whole fucking can.
I don't need, I didn't really want the cup with ice sloshing all over anyway. I'd rather have the can sitting there. And in a 2-hour flight, I'm going to drink the one can and I'm not going to bother you anymore. So,
see, I
just do it that way.
I like to chew on the ice and just be really loud after I get done drinking it. Yeah, it's just like crunch, crunch. Wait, let's see if I can do it here. I got some ice here.
Yeah, that sounds great. We just lost 30% of our listeners when you did that.
It's freaking cold, too. Surprise.
We rarely...
Ice is cold.
we rarely get a chance to travel with other people who are working with us at the time, any friends, in other words. Because it would be funny if we had one of those trips where Like the guys who do the other shows, they all fly on the same plane, so they might sit near each other. It'd be funny to try and collect all of the most irritating plane things to do and do them all on the flight, just without telling them that's the gag.
Yep. They just
have a couple people.
They just had look this one up. They just had a list of the most irritating things on flights.
I remember seeing that too on Facebook or something.
I don't remember what all of them were, but the person who's constantly getting their bag out of the overhead compartment was one of them.
Yeah.
Constantly up and down. The person who is not aware of their width when they're walking down the aisle and they always bump your arm.
Let's see. Number 20. This is a list from CNN. Let's do it. Number 20. Abusing someone else's possessions in the overhead bin.
Okay.
So, and it's funny how they're doing this too for CNN, because it's saying you arrived at the gate on time, boarded in orderly fashion, and used your allotted overhead bin space for your nicely folded coat and new fedora. Mm-hmm. Then late lummox arrives with a suitcase, stroller, and a shopping bag and mangles your dapperware beyond recognition while shoving half his life's possessions into a compartment meant for one personal item. Then proceeds to sit 12 rows away.
Yep. Oh, it happens all the time. It's like, really?
But wait, this doesn't make sense. Number 19 is taking ages to choose a movie. So I don't get it. Your neighbor takes 30 minutes deciding between Grown Ups 2 or something a little less cerebral, blah, blah. But why would that bother anybody?
I don't understand why that would bug anybody.
The only thing that I see here is at the very end of this one saying that if someone in the row in front of you is watching the same movie, but they're a few scenes ahead, it just ruins the whole movie for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Just don't look. Mm-hmm. All right, number 18, compulsive leg shaking. Okay, I get that one. Put that on your list. 17.
I will shake my legs on the next flight I'm on.
Yes, boarding before a group number called.
Oh, you always get those people and they play stupid. And they're not. They're just trying to sneak on because they know they've got too much carry-on shit.
Yeah, or some. I've seen people do it all the time where they just play dumb, like, "Oh, I didn't know this was first class boarding. I didn't know what these numbers meant." And they figure that the guy, because the big line is going, they figure they'll just let him go, which they do.
Yep.
I've boarded with you before because you had Sky and I had Zone 1 or something.
Right. They very rarely will call you out in public, but it's funny when they do. When you see them do it to somebody, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am," and they get really loud and announce it to everybody that you're in Zone 2. It's almost like you're on the Titanic, but you're the one that has to put the charcoal in the burners. You're down on that level.
Yeah, get down to steerage. You slacker, you Irish whiskey drinking immigrant. Get down there. I've had this too, and I think we talked about it, where I was on the upgrade list and they didn't say anything, but they started boarding. So I walked up and they told me I couldn't board until they cleared the upgrade list, but they were boarding first class, right?
Right.
And then they told me that I had to wait until everybody else boarded before they would clear those tickets.
That's so stupid.
Now you're last instead of first.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense for the idea of being upgraded. It was just one of those things that I looked it up afterwards, and apparently it happens every once in a while. Like some gate agent decides that they're going to do this, where we're not clearing these until we get everybody on board, as if they don't actually know or something.
Yeah.
What the count is.
Well,
number 6. Oh, I'm sorry.
It could
Go
be. Ahead. I'm thinking it could be there is one ticket unaccounted for in first class that was purchased, and they're still waiting to see if that person checks in. They may have got an earlier flight, or they may be taking a later flight, but they have to hold on to that seat to the last second.
No, but they would have to know if they checked in or not, because they're, if they had luggage on there or if they went through, because you check in before you go through security. So they'd have to. The only other thing is if they're.
Because when I worked for the limo service, we drove a lot of financial road shows and stuff. And these people, they've got a briefcase. That's it. they're not staying at a hotel. They're hitting like 3 or 4 cities all at once and then going home for the day. So they've got all these meetings, and if a meeting runs, they're booked on 3 different flights. So whichever one after they get out of this meeting they can make, they make. So it's like 30 minutes before departure, they're walking through security because they don't have a bag to check. So it could be that.
Yeah.
Doubtful,
something like that. Let me just sit here and stew still because I don't want you to ruin all of my good mad behavior here. Okay, let's get going here. 16 babies crying. We all know that one. Whatever. Buy a pair of Bose headphones.
Babies are stupid. Yes, we got that.
Yes. 15 getting huffy when a neighbor leaves their seat. In other words, if you have to get up and go to the bathroom and the person goes, and yeah, that shit.
Oh, God, it's a 5-hour flight. Really? This is the second time you've gotten up to pee?
Why are you in the window seat if you have to pee this much? Is what the deal is. I always take the window seat, and I never get up to pee until someone else in the row does. Mm-hmm. That way I avoid everything. Because that does happen. You never want to ask anybody. Yep. Number 14, yapping on the cell phone.
Oh, my God.
But
those are the worst.
Well, let me see if this is the same for you. I care about that. It bugs me on the leaving side, getting ready to fly out. After we land, everybody's turning on their cell phone, and it just doesn't bother. I just don't care because everybody's doing it. But there's always like the one guy waiting who has to be told to stop talking because he's really loud and talk. Some people will do it with their speakerphone too.
Yep.
So whatever. Fuck that.
Do it right up until the door closes, and they close the door and they get the dirty look from the waitress or the stewardess or the waitress in the sky, the stewardess.
Yeah, waitress in the sky. I had the last trip I took, maybe that was on the way into Montreal. I had a guy next to me, businessman type. He did everything wrong you could do.
Okay.
Broke every rule you can break. He sat there on his phone.
Okay.
He reclined his seat, and they didn't even ask him to put it back up for takeoff, right?
Right.
He kept his phone on with cellular data all the way through takeoff and all the way up into the sky until he lost connection.
Yep.
And I'm like, this guy's a douche. I think as soon as this is what happened. As soon as the waitresses in the sky sat down in their jump seats, his seat reclined, and they never said anything about the phone. He kept being on the phone because they can't tell anymore if you're in airplane mode.
Right.
But I'm looking at this guy going, oh, you're just the rule breaker. You're the intentional, I'm going to break every rule.
Dickhead.
Number 13 is one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
Scarfing smelly food.
Oh, my God. I had a lady that brought on, she must have went to Joe's Crab Shack, I think, in the airport or something. And this was a lady that obviously, I was bumped to first class, but this was a lady that was obviously bumped to first class because maybe she missed a flight or something. She definitely was not first class material, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The second,
you elitist. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a certain aura that you carry, and she definitely had an aura to her. She cracked open this to-go box of peel and eat shrimp in first class and started cracking the fucking shrimp as we're taxiing out.
Oh, God.
And then she's taking the shrimp and taking the whole thing and biting half, and then you're hearing the crunch, and then biting the next half, and then taking the tail and tossing it back in the bucket. And the smell of shrimp was just like, oh, really, lady?
Yeah. I can't remember. I've had a few of them where someone had one of those crazy like curry dishes or something like that next to me.
Well, I'm the curry puker guy. That was the time I was flying to Atlanta, and I had the Indian family that puked.
Oh, man. Puking on the plane. That's worse. Let's see if that shows up on the list. Right now, we're up to number 12.
Okay, next
This
one.
one bugs me, too. Yeah. Number 12 is during the flight, loud talking, which I hate too. You know, where people are having a conversation that's way too loud for you. I like their example. You're going to Miami too? Fascinating.
I had my flight from Utah back. I had a guy in front of me that decided he was sitting next to a blonde girl. And I think he thought she was attractive or something, but he struck up this conversation and it lasted almost a whole flight. And I could tell that she was disinterested. He was married, but it was the stories he told were all about him and his business and what he does for a living. And she's trying to get a word in edgewise, and he doesn't give a fuck what she has to say. He just keeps going on and on about him, trying to impress her, you know?
Yeah. And you're sitting there going, shut up. But that's another argument for our latest non-advertiser, the Bose Quiet Comfort 35 headphones.
Exactly. Put them on and shut the fuck up.
They work so well for that. I've had crying babies right next to me, like the one that was touching my face when I was flying.
You know what? Tasers work just as well.
On babies?
On anyone that's annoying you next to you, just tase them. The rest of the flight, you're going to be fine.
I think you're setting me up because you know I can't get a taser through security.
Oh, sure you can. They don't even look for knives anymore.
This is my worst. Establishing armrest dominance.
Oh, God. Yeah.
The armrest battle is so stupid. And we could talk about that a whole show. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just say every single flight you have, you're always next to somebody who has no idea how that works.
What about people that
just pisses you off?
What about people that don't put the armrest down?
I haven't had that.
I had a heavier set lady on a flight a while back, and she sat in there, and I don't know if she could get the armrest down, but now her fat is into
I was waiting for it.
Part of my seat, and like it's touching, you know?
I've had that many times. I've had people's fat touching me, like not just me trying to put my arm to my side and getting on the arm. I've had their bodies touching the sides of my body. Like they're all the way over the armrest into my seat with their, all right, I'll not be nice anymore, with their fat. They're fat people with their fat coming into my seat.
Hey, is there any
like
law?
The blob.
Is there any law about taking off your shirt on a plane?
I don't know.
I wonder if that happens to me next time and I've got someone like leaning over into my seat and then like their body is touching mine. If I take off my shirt, I wonder if that would deter them.
Let me see what it says for the search term shirtless on a plane.
I mean, I could always wear a tank top.
No, it doesn't. Really, this is what comes up. It's so stupid. Apparently, Ryan Reynolds is shirtless on a plane, thinking it's funny or something. I don't know that there's a law against that. We'll find out one day. This one I don't quite understand because I'm sure you've had this. So say that you're in the 3-seat row and it's empty in the middle and you're like, holy shit, it's empty. I love this. This is basically first class now because you have an empty middle seat.
Yes.
And they're saying that people get mad if somebody lays their stuff in the middle seat, one of the two of you. I don't know how you deal with it. I have a plan usually.
Okay, what's your plan?
I don't use anything in that middle seat at all, but I do take my bag. Once I know that we're going to take off, I'll put my backpack underneath the middle seat in front.
Yeah, so that gives you more legroom.
And I'll wait a good amount of time to see if the other guy's going to do it.
Yep. I will use the tray in the middle seat between the two of us for when they're doing the beverage service, so we can fold that tray down. The other person has half of the tray. I have half of the tray. We set our drinks there. We can still have our laptops out and we're watching movies or whatever. But
I can't believe I've never thought of that. Thank you, sir, because that's one I've never even thought of, and now I'll do it every time.
Share that tray. I do it all the time.
I'll just go, hey, I have an idea. Let's do this. And they'll be like, what are you doing? Hey, get your arms away from my space. And then when they see it, Then everybody will be all good. Everything will be just all right.
Yep. You share that space. Just kind of look at the other
9.
person, give them a high five.
We're over halfway through. Number 9, coughing, sneezing, germ sharing.
Oh, yes.
I try not to be anywhere near anyone if I have a cold. I try a lot to, just mitigate that as much as I can, like making sure I have tissues so I don't have to like blow your nose or you keep everything going. But all of us have been sick on a plane at one time or another. Yeah. So I usually give them a pass unless they're being really stupid.
There's also times when you're not sick and it's so much dry air recirculating in the plane that you do get that cough in your throat and your throat gets dry.
Yeah.
And you do cough and then people look at you like you're sick and it's like, fuck you.
No, mine is the nose because you could hear me now. I already have sinus things going on all the time. Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm in my cold studio because I can't have the heat on. But every time I fly, my sinuses will run because of the pressure back and forth. So I don't have a cold at all or anything, but my nose is always running and I'm always having to like clean my nose without blowing your nose. That's the thing you don't want to do.
Right.
Number 8. Playing games without turning sound off. I don't really hear any of that.
Little kids, parents with little kids are known for that. Give the kid a game and, the kid doesn't want to wear headphones and, they're playing games and doing that shit.
Oh, sorry. Nobody would be playing a game from 1988 either, I don't think.
So what else? What's the next one?
Wait a minute. Number 8 still. Playing games without turning sound off. Thank you to the Bose Quiet Comfort 35 headset. Hopefully they'll sponsor the show someday.
I'd love a free pair, Bose. We'll talk about you more.
Bose. And don't think there won't be a hashtag Bose in this thing.
Hashtag Bose Quiet Comfort solves most of first world problems.
Yeah, it's like way long. And then on the Twitter one, I'll tag them in it. I'll be like at Bose Quiet Comfort so they can see it. Number 7, rolling huge suitcase up aisle.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
And those people that aren't aware of the width of themselves or when they turn and twist and they have a backpack.
Oh, yeah.
And they're putting something up and they just nail you in the fucking face with the goddamn backpack.
I don't do aisle seats because I always have to lean in towards the middle seat person because I'm getting it all the time. I got so mad at aisle seats, I've just never picked them because the stewardesses always run into you. The cart, they do.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not even outside of it. I make sure that my aisle arm is
think about
not
it, Jerry.
even sticking over the edge.
If you were a waitress in the sky, wouldn't you do it too? Just hit everybody's elbow.
I think they're doing it for fun.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
It's like with their ass, too. They always bash into you with their hip ass.
Yep. It's entertainment in their day.
Probably. Number 6, people behind you trying to disembark first. Very rare, but it does happen, and I give them the look, and they see it, and other people see it. But why are they in such a hurry? Why are they first?
I've got a connection. Oh, my God, I'm going to miss it. Out.
Yep. What do you do when they do that whole, we're late, some people on the plane have connections. If you don't, stay in your seat and let them through. How do you respond to that?
I let them, if I don't have a connection, I'm courteous enough to let them go. But I'm always on the aisle seat, so I always have some asshole next to me that has a connection. So I might as well get out of their way, too, and just go.
Yep. That's what I would do. And mine is if I'm up at the front of the plane, I just leave because I only have a backpack. I don't have an overhead. I don't have to slow down anything. I stand up and walk off the plane. Yep. So I figure because all those people behind me have no choice but to wait for these idiots with overheads.
Right.
Not that everybody's an idiot that does overhead. I just have never done it because I don't want to take the time to fumble around with all that shit. So my experience, if I'm at the back of the plane, I'll sit there and wait and let everybody go Especially, if you're in that last quarter or last third of the plane, I'll just stay there. It doesn't make any difference. But I'm up at the front, then I'm just getting up and walking out. Because most of the time, I'm faster than the people who are still getting shit behind me. You know what I mean?
Yep. And once again, it's like when you're sitting in an exit row and they ask you for your assistance because they're not staffing the plane properly. When they are late because they're fucking late, why is it my concern that people aren't going to make their connections because you fucked them over? Now I have to wait?
Right.
It's bullshit.
Positive and negative rights. That's what that's all about.
Yep.
We'll talk about that someday.
Be on time, fuckers.
Number 5, easy one. Shooting fish in the barrel, this one. Neglecting personal hygiene. So,
yes, definitely.
Really the thing that I don't run into like just plain old-fashioned smelly people as much as I run into lawyers with hangovers that have the hangover thing.
Smelling like alcohol on the plane, yeah.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa just walked out, flipped me off. She's going to have a smoke. I'm sure she doesn't have anything to say. 0 to say. She put up a big 0 symbol.
0?
This is how you can tell she doesn't listen to the show. I'm waiting for this reaction because I did talk about the things Lisa said that she told me not to last week.
Hashtag.
Now, I just got
heard
one.
The F-bomb. Oh.
Yeah. Things Lisa says.
Wow, fucking didn't.
I will fucking kill you, is what she said. Number 4 on the list, bare feet on the plane.
Oh, my God. I hate that. Not bare feet, but when they pop their shoes off.
Yeah. I always think that's douchey if you got the businessman and he pops his slide-on dress shoes off and sitting there with his fancy patterned socks that everybody thinks are so cool right now.
I'm not gonna mention names, but I was on a flight from Miami.
Yes.
And it was hot. Let's say Miami Heat hot. And there's a basketball player behind me in first class.
Miami Heat hot with a basketball player behind you.
Yes. And he decided to put his size 13 and a half shoe on my armrest.
Oh, God.
And what do you say? What do you do? It's like, dude, really?
I would totally say something. I wouldn't care what he did for a living. I'd say, your giant foot is right here in my way.
On my
Can we
armrest.
not do that?
Well, I was a window seat, and he had extended his seat out and extended his leg out. And I've got a big black foot next to me. I start in a different way. I start pretending to bump into shit by accident. Like if they put their fat into my seat or their arms. I should have started tickling his feet.
Oh shit, that'd be funny. If you just like your little fingers were out there going gitchy, 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 gitchy.
Or this little piggy went to market. This little piggy went home. This little piggy didn't make the playoffs. And this
oh man, this little piggy had a roast beef, and this little piggy blew his free throw shot.
This little piggy can't score.
Oh shit, that's funny. And you got to use that voice too, you know.
Yep.
This little piggy pissed off the officials and took a personal foul.
This little piggy got traded back to Cleveland. Okay, go ahead.
That's funny. This little piggy fucked up the spread. Oh, God.
Okay.
Number 3.
We took a tangent there. Go ahead.
Right. Number 3, another one I don't notice very often because I don't use it, is hogging the toilet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you ever run into that where someone's just in there way too long and causing a line or something?
Yeah, and I always am under the rule that you don't, it's like a tour bus. You don't number 2 on a plane. You hold it.
No, that's only in extreme emergency conditions is that you would do that.
I don't like the
if
people
if you have the flu or something.
I don't like the people that get up and go in the restroom and lock the door when you're getting ready to taxi, and then the stewardesses have to get, the waitresses in the sky have to get on the announcement and be like, we need everyone to take their seats before we all can leave. Just because jackass got up and went in the bathroom, now we got to sit here. We might miss our departure time because of this fuck nugget. Yeah.
Yeah. That and you know what really pisses me off about that is not when there's some person from steerage that gets up to go to the bathroom because they don't know any better, because they don't fly ever, right? When they're in the super basic seats. It's the first class guy who decides it's time for him to just go up, you know what? I know we're getting ready to taxi, so I'm just going to go to the bathroom now.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what the timing is on this stuff. That's so stupid. And this happens more often than not when you're not delayed, where you're not sitting there waiting to be de-iced or any of that shit. It happens in a normal situation. I'm like, fuck you, stop it.
Yep, you should have peed outside. People don't pay attention to the first class restrooms either anymore. It used to be the first class restrooms were just for people in first class. Mm-hmm. Now it's anybody and everybody just decides, oh, you know what? I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, they've got a cart in the aisle. Oh, I'm going to cut through first class and right up by the pilots, and I'm going to go in this restroom and I'm going to lock myself in.
I don't. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'll tell you how I deal with it, because I'll use the first class one if I'm way up at the front, but not in first class. I'll use the one in the back if I'm close to the back. I just go to whatever one's closer and I say F that, because whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't like the idea that first class gets their own bathroom that no one's using. Screw that.
Well, I think they should. I mean, they paid the premium. If you get bumped or your travel, I think it should be, because it's going to be less dirty. It's not going to stink as much. You only have 12 people at the max using that restroom. I think it's a privilege. And if you want that privilege, pay for first class or be a frequent traveler and get bumped to first class.
Yep, I'd say they'd have to have another one at the front of main cabin then. Because if they only have two on the plane, then fuck it. So we'll agree to disagree.
Okay, one of my annoying ones, and let's see if it makes the list, is the people...
Well, let me go. We got two more.
When they're walking down the aisle and they touch your headrest or bump your seat.
Okay, so that's part of it. So number 2, this one, I don't know what they mean by this, reclining the seat. But it sounds like they're saying that they hate people who are mad about you reclining your seats. Because it says, curious how a sanctioned behavior, pressing the seat recline button, thus pinioning the person behind you with their own tray table, should raise so many people's ires. Such selfish behavior, sighs world-weary traveler so-and-so. Do you design these babes? Okay, so it looks like they are saying that nobody should recline, and I say screw that. It's got a button. I can recline it. Right. I don't put it back all the way because I don't want to be laying down that far in these seats. I just do it just enough so I'm not sitting straight up like I'm being punished in Catholic school.
See, I don't. I don't mind the reclined seat thing as long as I get warning. Because if I have my laptop open on the tray table and the jackass hits the button and slams back fast enough, he could crack my screen.
Oh, yeah. I don't like the slam back. I do get pissed off about that.
If they do it slow and gentle, that's fine. Because then I'll move mine slow and gentle, and it'll be like the wave at a stadium where everyone in that whole aisle just starts leaning back, except for the people in the exit rows who can't.
Yeah, I know. Number 1 on the list, Davin, we've reached it, and we've almost used the whole show, so you know that the name of this show will be 20 most annoying things people do on airplanes.
Yes.
Kicking, bumping.
Along with the little piggy toes.
Yeah.
I could have played penny toes with the basketball player, too.
You could have played.
All right, famous basketball player man. It's time to play a little game I love called penny toes.
Pull off his sock and stick pennies in there and go, okay, your turn to shake.
Listeners, you will have to find the Penny Toes episode to learn how this is some crazy game that Davin's grandpa used to play with the kids.
I think that's
Penny Toes.
what was the Miami one called? Misery in South Beach. I think it's on
There's
that
Misery.
episode.
Yeah, there's Misery in South Beach, and then there's also, isn't there It's Getting Hot in South Beach too, or something like that?
Could be. Yeah, it's one of the South Beach episodes. Okay, number one.
Number one. Kicking, bumping, shoving the seat back. Yes. That goes to yours, because that I would throw those people in the aisle in that category. Those are the people. This is the one I think of most often. Is they're going to get up during the flight and go to the bathroom, and they grab your seat and they use it to climb out of their seat,
or as a handrail all the way down the aisle.
Yeah, but the ones that kill me are the ones that'll grab onto it and pull back on it as they stand up. So you're always you're getting pulled back and forth. And then the idiot that doesn't know how to gently use his seat back pocket in front of him and all that shit.
Yep.
They're just fumbling around and
the monitor
kicking.
video game people that are always tapping your back of your head. Those two.
Yep, I love that. It's not as soothing as you would think. If I was a stronger person,
you wouldn't think getting tapped in the back of the head on a 4-hour flight would be soothing, but you know,
right. What I'm saying is that if I could just trick my mind into thinking that they were doing some sort of Chinese pressure relaxation massage, then that would be different. But it just ends up being tappity tap.
See, this, right. Jerry, is why if you get the little liquor bottles, you end up drinking them. It's because of all of these fucking people.
Oh, assholes. I just knocked my phone off the table, getting too excited about the tap.
Tap, tap.
That ends our list of the 20 most annoying things people do on planes from CNN. I'm sure everybody loved that one. Penny Toes. Penny Toes! Ridiculous.
Oh, they'll have to listen to find out what that all means.
I know. We hit an hour again. So with only having... I still had one topic left. I'll save it for the next show.
Okay. I don't think I brought up any of mine.
Good, because no one likes yours anyway.
That's true, dickweed.
No, what happened was this particular topic that I'll say... This is called a teaser in the business world or the entertainment world. This topic that I'll bring up on next show... I talked with Bob in the background about. Bob in the background is a friend of the show, for those listeners that don't know. And he said, because I was saying, I wonder if Davin's going to like this one as much as other people I've said it to in real life. Because I tried it out on him. I tried it out on other people. This one of these thoughts I had.
Okay.
And then I go, I don't know. Sometimes he doesn't react to things the same way that I might get 5 people in a row saying, "Oh, that's hilarious. That's a good one." And then I put it on the show, and
I don't react
Davin
the same
has
way.
little to no reaction to it. And then Bob just goes, "That's because Davin isn't interested in anything you are saying. He's just waiting to say his own shit."
It's so true.
I go, "Yep, that's true. He's just waiting for me to shut up so he can say his own shit."
Oh.
But we'll do that next week, people.
Sounds good.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the You Name It podcast. Tell your friends all about all of the things that you learned today.
Sure.
And, share it and comment and
Pop
keep
a wheelie, guys.
Hang on, don't say it yet.
Okay.
Keep the rise in listenership going, because still, even though sometimes we have lower than other, it still keeps trending upwards, as they say. So, thank you all.
Until next week, guys, pop a wheelie.